Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, September 25th. We have updates on the Nittany Mall Casino project, as well as more on a controversial speaker's visit to campus.
We also have updates on an alleged hate crime at a Pennsylvania college, along with entertainment, sports, and an interview. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Morgan Suppes.
And I'm Hannah George. The Center Daily Times reports that Lupita's Authentic Mexican Food is set to pay $88,000 to settle a U.S. Labor Department complaint. The family-owned State College restaurant was accused of withholding tips, failing to pay minimum wage, and not providing overtime to some employees. The settlement includes over $76,000 in back wages and damages for 22 workers. The restaurant will also pay an $11,500 civil penalty.
The Nittany Mall Casino project's future has been up in the air. Earlier this month, the two companies who planned to build the casino ended their partnership. Eric Pearson, the future owner of the casino, said that the changes haven't affected the casino at all. StateCollege.com says that in the College Township meeting last Thursday, Pearson said the other company had very little stake in the project and that their building schedule remains unchanged. The casino is still planning to open its doors in early 2026.
StateCollege.com says the State College Borough is considering a $1.5 million loan to renovate a former fraternity house into the new home for local human services agency Center Helps. The building has been vacant for 3 years and has faced vandalism during that time. The loan would cover part of the nearly $2 million cost to convert the first 2 floors into office space. The project will also include affordable housing units on the upper floors. A final vote on the loan is expected at the council's October meeting.
Controversial conservative Charlie Kirk visited State College during his Turning Point on the USA tour. He spoke at Hub Lawn for a few minutes before his mic was cut. Turning Point contributor Morgan McMichael told Onward State that a Penn State official told them to turn off the sound, despite Turning Point having approval to be on campus. Penn State spokesperson Lisa Powers responded, saying that while Turning Point had gotten approval for a table to distribute information, they never had approval for a speaker. She also said that they were not authorized to use the speaker equipment during that time under Penn State Policy AD 51. Kirk continued to speak after his microphone was cut, and Turning Point USA left shortly after his speech was over. Sophia Koch is here live in the studio now with more details on that. Sophia.
Thanks, Morgan. On Thursday, I had the chance to attend Turning Point USA, a speaker event with Charlie Kirk. This event was just one stop of the larger You're Being Brainwashed tour that took place on college campuses across America. Let's take a look. Charlie Kirk and his conservative-based political group, Turning Point USA, appeared on the Penn State campus on September 21st. Penn State students were outraged by Kirk's appearance, demanding the PSU admins to not allow him on campus. These students, the SCDS, Student Committee for Defense and Solidarity, claim Kirk is racist and transphobic.
My name is Sophia Koch, and I'm here today with Penn State Network News covering an event on the Hub Lawn. On one side, you can see Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA speaking about their conservative ideals. On another side, you can see Penn State students protesting Charlie Kirk here on campus today and protesting what they believe Penn State is allowing to be hate speech.
He said a number of things, including the Civil Rights Act was the biggest mistake in American history. He said that contraceptives make women stupid. He said that trans people are mentally ill, and a number of just terrible things.
Charlie Kirk, great guy. He signed my chicken sandwich, as you can see here. I love the guy. Seems nice. You know, all of his content on TikTok, it's honestly very motivating and something I really support.
There was confusion during the event because Kirk started using a microphone and speakers, which the university shut down, saying that equipment was not authorized to use during daytime hours, although they did not shut down the event on the Hub Lawn. Reporting in University Park, I'm Sophia Koch for PSN News. The next event listed for the You're Being Brainwashed tour will take place on September 30th at the University of Montana, and then October 15th at Ohio State University. Back to you, Morgan.
Thanks, Sophia. Now don't go anywhere, because after the break, Jasenia will bring you the latest in sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Jasenia Marrero with your sports update. The Penn State football team shut out Kent State this past Saturday, showcasing their dominance throughout the game. As a result, several players who don't usually see the field were able to make their debuts, including Liam Clifford, brother of Sean Clifford. Liam marked the occasion with his first career touchdown. The Nittany Lions defense also adapted well despite their absence of star safety Kevin Winston Jr. Winston started Penn State's September 7th game against Bowling Green, but suffered an injury in the first quarter. It was stated last Wednesday that this is a long-term injury. Jalen Reed has now stepped into Winston's position, while Cam Miller has taken over Reed's previous role in the nickel position. Looking ahead, Penn State will host Illinois this Saturday for their first in-conference game, set to kick off at 7:30 for the season's first night game. Head coach James Franklin is encouraging fans to bring their whiteout energy. The Big Ten announced the 2024 to 2025 men's basketball conference schedule. The Nittany Lions are set for an exciting season ahead with 10 conference home games, including a historic matchup at the Palestra on January 5th. Penn State will face Indiana in Philadelphia, marking their return to the Cathedral of college basketball. The Nittany Lions have previously hosted 4 Big Ten games at the Palestra, achieving victories against Michigan State in 2017, Iowa in 2020, and most recently, Michigan in 2024. Overall, Penn State has played 62 games at this iconic venue since 1927. As they enter their second season under head coach Mike Rhodes, the Nittany Lions look to build on last year's success, where Rhodes led the team to the second most Big Ten wins by a first-year head coach in program history during the 2023 to 2024 season. The NFL is full of surprises this season, with many teams performing better or worse than expected. One of the most shocking games took place just 2 nights ago during Monday Night Football, when the Washington Commanders defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 38-33. Jaden Daniels, the quarterback and the number 2 pick in the 2024 draft, had an impressive performance, completing 21 of 23 passes for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Bengals. Despite expectations for the Bengals offense to find their rhythm after Joe Burrow's return from injury, they have struggled to get this going. With the loss, the Commanders improved to 2-1, while the Bengals fall to 0-3, joining the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans in the winless column. That's all for your sports update. After the break, Bridget Fitzpatrick has the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick with your entertainment update. Beaver Stadium is taking things to new heights. This year's Over the Edge Challenge, benefiting Center County United Way, is offering State College residents a chance to rappel off of the football stadium on October 8th. The fundraiser has a requirement of $1,500 raised to climb, with a discount of $1,000 raised for Penn State students. The top 2 fundraisers will also receive tickets to the Penn State versus UCLA game, along with their once-in-a-lifetime experience. Students entering the challenge should make sure to select both the default registration fee and the student discount. CCU will contact the thrill seekers that achieve their goal. After working up an appetite, make sure to head over to the Eberly Family Special Collections Library to check out some of their rare cookbooks. After a 2-2 tie in the bake-off between Penn State and Monash University in Melbourne, Australia, students, families, and alumni are invited to pick recipes from selected rare books and post a photo with the hashtags The Great Rare Books Bake-Off and Bake Penn State to enter. The competition is from October 5th to the 13th, and the university with the most entries will break the tie and win the final rare recipe bake-off. Friends fans, tune in, because Max is introducing a new Friends game show to celebrate the sitcom's 30th anniversary. The show will premiere in October and will be filmed inside the New York Friends Experience, featuring 18 iconic rooms and recreated sets. Contestants will get the opportunity to race from Central Perk to Monica and Rachel's apartment, testing their knowledge on the show and participating in trivia, puzzles, and games. That's all for your entertainment update. Coming up next, interview anchor Jackson Tortone will be speaking with James Toburin, a Penn State football intern. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Jackson Tortone, and joining me today is James Toburin, an intern for Penn State football. James, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I'd like to start with a couple of basic questions.
Sure.
So, what year are you? What major are you? And what would you like to do after college?
So I'm a junior here at Penn State, kinesiology major, studying specifically applied exercise and health. After college, I'd like to be a collegiate strength and conditioning coach or professional strength and conditioning coach.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, and so regarding that, so when did you decide you wanted to do an internship here with the football team?
I think during high school, I got really interested in working into sports. And then that kind of pushed me to go to a big university like Penn State. And then once I got here, I started meeting people who worked with some sports teams like soccer, baseball, but not really football. And then through professors, I was able to hear about the internship. And then just kind of following up, I was able to get into it, yeah.
Very nice. And so how were you able to really find out about this particular internship, and how'd you go about getting it?
Like I said, the professors just mentioned it, that you could work with football, but they've always been so secretive, kind of just separate from the other sports. So really just constantly emails, phone calls, voicemails, all of the above with no response. I've just done all that to try to get a response from football to get in. And then eventually I was fed up, so I put on a nice outfit, took my resume, and walked to the front door of the building and just waited for one of the coaches to come out, essentially. And then eventually one did. And long story short, the next day I got a call for an interview, yeah.
And how did that feel when you finally got it after all that work?
That was awesome, yeah. All the waiting, all the hard work, perseverance, it felt really good.
And so I understand this internship sounds like very high commitment. So could you describe the hours and exactly what it entails?
It's mostly early mornings and weekends, so thankfully it doesn't interfere with classes too much. In the off season, I'll wake up as early as 3 a.m. Yeah, it's early, but it's definitely worth it. And then also sacrificing a Saturday or Sunday or sometimes both. It's a lot of work, but I know it'll pay off. And thankfully, the coaches are super understanding with classes and workload. And now that I've been there for a little bit, I'm able to kind of say, hey, I need to study for this test, or I have my commitment to my other job, stuff like that. They're very flexible and willing to work.
Well, that's great to hear. And so this particular internship, so how do you think it's going to help you out with your future and, what you want to do, like you just mentioned earlier?
I think these coaches are essentially is who I want to be. They have my dream job. So shadowing them will just give me the experience and the connections at a school as big as Penn State to hopefully go anywhere across the country, because these coaches know coaches and they know everyone across the country. So shadowing them, getting the connections, building my relationship with them, I think it's a perfect step to what I want to do for my career.
And a little personal interest question on my part. Would you prefer being a collegiate trainer or a professional trainer?
I think collegiate, because those athletes they still have a goal to work towards, and they're still hungry to work towards a goal, that being the NFL in the case of football. Not to say that professional players aren't, but I think we see that more in the college level, that these athletes they're still more motivated and more coachable than professional athletes.
A little less cocky as well, you think?
Yeah, you could definitely say that.
Yes, and so what type of relationships have you built with the players and the coaches that you've dealt with throughout your time with this internship?
As I mentioned, the coaches they're great, they're super nice people, very flexible, down to earth, easy to talk to. They all love to bring their family into the facility all the time, so it's super cool to meet their kids and just see a different side of them than the coach's side.
Yeah, I think a lot of Penn State students, they see these football players, they see them on the field obviously every Saturday, and they want to know a lot more, what they're like behind the scenes, because at the end of the day, a lot of them are just students like us, or actually all of them are, and these coaches, same thing. These people are just working their jobs, and they are. We kind of glorify them here at Penn State because it's such a big thing here. But it's glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And so, how do these players, before the big games, the Ohio State games, Michigan, all these big time games, how do they act leading up in the days leading up to these games, even the night before?
The night before, to get to your point, is very, very business, just strict. Not a whole lot goes on. They're focused. They just do their own thing. But the week leading up before is through their practices and lifts. It's just work all the time. They're so serious, and the coaches too. They know that. But there's good vibes in the facility because you don't want any bad vibes leading into the game. But at the same time, it's super strict. No mistakes can be made.
And so that's obviously right before the big game. So would you say for the most part it's a pretty relaxed, obviously a hardworking environment, but a pretty relaxed one? Like, is there like, fun music playing and things like that happening in the training facility?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, there's always some sort of fun music playing. And the players, there's, like I was saying, they're super serious and locked in. But at the end of the day, they're students like us, as you mentioned, and they're very down to earth and easy to talk to. I'll joke with them and all this stuff, and they're just regular college kids like us.
Mm-hmm. And so which players in particular have you like really built a connection with during your time there?
Specifically, the offensive line stands out. Players like Dominic Ruley and Drew Shelton specifically. Dominic Ruley is actually the same major as me at Penn State. So it's been having classes with him is really cool to connect like that from a student perspective, and then also seeing him in the facility at practice from an athlete perspective. I'm really close to him, and I'm able to work with him one-on-one some. Same with Drew Shelton. And then also in the weight room, I'm kind of positioned with the cornerbacks and receivers, so developing relations with them. Again, another really fun group. They're funny. They goof around a little bit and like to joke and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so now for the big question. I think I want to hear about this. I understand you've gotten to meet Drew Aller and James Franklin, two of the biggest names on the team. Could you describe how you've interacted with them and how they are behind the scenes?
Yeah, I'll start with James Franklin. He's consistent for sure. Every single day.
10-2. We know.
everything you can. Every day you expect the same thing from him, and that is like a really high standard. But he's going to meet that standard every single day. But when I first met him, he was super down to earth. He asked me about my family, where I was from, my high school, what I was studying, what year, even where I'm living at Penn State, all these personal questions, and really getting to know him a little bit really was something special.
And how about Drew Aller?
Drew Aller is he's one of the quieter ones in the facility on the team. He's very work-oriented, but I will say if he is not the first one to practice or to work out, he's the second one, and not by much. He's always early.
And so I guess one more question kind of add on. So Nick Singleton, he's my personal favorite player. Again, just a personal question I'd like to know. Like, how would you describe him in the weight room and during training?
He's again more quiet, just head down, like grunt. He's humble too. He just likes to work.
Very nice to hear. Well, thank you so much for coming in, James.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now stick around, because coming up next, Hannah and Morgan will have the latest news from across the nation.
At least 2 students from the Gettysburg College swim team have been suspended after a racial slur was reportedly scratched onto another student's body. The incident allegedly took place during an informal gathering at an on-campus residence. The college is investigating the report through its student conduct process, and the students involved are not currently participating in swim team activities. Gettysburg College President Robert Iuliano expressed deep concern over the impact on the campus community and emphasized that such actions have no place at the school.
4 people were killed and 17 others were injured in a mass shooting in Birmingham, Alabama. Multiple shooters opened fire in 5 Points South, the entertainment district, around 11 p.m. Saturday night. The shooting happened on the sidewalk outside Hush, a popular lounge. Police say a vehicle pulled up and multiple shooters got out and started firing and then fled the scene. The shooters are still at large. Officials are offering up to $100,000 in reward.
Starting this month, Americans will once again be able to order free COVID-19 test kits, which can be mailed directly to their homes. Households can request up to 4 nasal swab tests by visiting covidtest.gov. While the exact start date hasn't been announced, the U.S. Health and Human Services Department says the test will be available ahead of the holiday season, when gatherings increase the risk of spreading the virus. These tests are designed to detect current strains of COVID-19.
Plastic bags will no longer be an option at California grocery stores. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law Sunday banning all plastic shopping bags. California has already banned thin, single-use plastic bags, but the new law will also ban thicker, reusable plastic bags as well, starting in 2026. California is one of 12 states to have a statewide plastic bag ban. Now, shoppers who don't bring their own bag will be asked if they want to purchase a paper bag at checkout. That concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.